This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Okay, something odd is happening with my Fitbit, which tracks, my steps, my heart rate, all of that stuff.
Love a Fitbit.
Love me a Fitbit. I planned on working out in the new year. It was part of my New Year's resolution.
You've been talking about this for a while.
I know, but it was part of being more committed to it. And I've just been sick and,
Right.
all the
Okay.
excuses in the world.
No, fair. Sickness, I'll let you. I was going to chirp you, but I'll let you off the hook with sickness.
I haven't been going. However, when I look at my Fitbit and I go and I check my heart rate for the week, I check how many calories I've been burning, I have never burned more calories in my life. I have no idea what's going on right now.
What is in that gym bag you bring to work but don't use? Because you bring your gym bag to work like nobody's business.
Yes, there are times where, and I don't ever use it, you're right. There are times, I was talking to a friend of mine. She was telling me a pretty juicy story, okay? It was a little gossipy, I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. And I looked down, my Fitbit is buzzing, and it's like, keep on going. You're doing great.
So your heart rate started pounding because someone was telling you a juicy story?
I guess so. Enough that it was tracking vigorous movement, counting it as exercise. Then I was in the shower, just in the shower, washing my hair. That's all I was doing. My Fitbit is buzzing like crazy. Same thing, you can do it, you can do it. I looked at my week's worth of zone minutes. So you're supposed to get 150 zone minutes a week, okay? I got 700 zone minutes for the week. 700!
That's concerning.
I haven't done anything. All I'm doing is breathing.
You're either wash, rinse, and repeating way too vigorously, or listen, I hate to go here with it, but this might be partly a function of age. I would make an appointment with your cardiologist immediately because that's not okay. That's way too many zone minutes for someone who's not actually doing anything that should be strenuous.
Yes, and what is happening that I'm just hearing a gossipy story that's pretty juicy, and my heart rate is in overdrive.
Yeah, that's...
maybe this just means I'm not meant to work out. I'm just meant to gossip.
I was going to say, have you upped your intake of reality trash TV? Because maybe you're watching whatever you watch, Real Housewives of Dubai. Is that a thing?
It is a thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I just threw a dart at a map.
Yeah. It's not my favorite one, but I watch it.
Maybe that's just triggering you to... Maybe you got to dial back your reality TV. That's a thought.
Yeah. So maybe I just need to talk to somebody who's more level-headed, more calm.
Yeah, who tells you mundane things.
Yeah, who shames me for not working out with my gym bag.
Yeah, I feel like your eyes are piercing right through me.
Oh, look at that. My zone minutes are going in reverse.
Doctor, line one.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
And there was this one show that many of us watched, and at the time, it was huge. I'm talking about Sex and the City. It's been added to Netflix. You can watch all the seasons there. And at the time, when the show came out, I remember that was the very first time I learned about lots of things, from what Manolo Blahniks were, still can't say it, Cosmopolitans, remember the martinis, fashion, and it was the first time that I had watched a show where women were talking about things that up until now women were not talking about. So there was, the sexual freedom that happened between the women. They had the over-the-top fashion. They were talking about their lives with men and all the complexities that come with it. And I thought it was great at the time. Apparently Gen Z, who's now watching this and being exposed to it because it's on Netflix, finds the whole thing cringe. And more specifically, Carrie Bradshaw, the lead character, very cringe. In fact, if you go and put in a Google search, Carrie Bradshaw, the next word that comes up is cringe.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm thinking now, wait a minute, did I miss something? Is it because it was 1998 when the show came out? Mm-hmm. Was it just a sign of the times?
Probably because I jumped on Sex and the City way later. So when the last season was about to air, I binged everything because I wanted to catch up and I wanted to watch the last season live.
Yeah.
Because everyone was making such a big deal out of it.
Uh-huh.
And even then I was like, she's annoying. They're trying way too hard.
Yep.
So I think if I had started watching it when it first came out, it would have been a completely different story because, like you said, things on that show that were not on any other show.
Yep.
And these independent women that didn't care and were just living their lives.
Yep.
But then by the time I watched it already, I don't even remember how many seasons it was. I was like, okay, it was good. It was fun to watch, but she already to me was a little cringe.
It's funny. So what Gen Z is saying about Carrie Bradshaw is that, she cheated on Aiden. How is this good? She stalked an ex. That's not good. She had an affair with Mr. Big, who was married. Why are we celebrating this character? Right. Then she plays the victim, according to them. And that, in her relationship with Big, that a lot of people were rooting for if you were on Team Big, she was disrespected constantly. Everybody knew they were never getting married, right? Like that kind of thing. So the relationship was toxic. And
I hated them together.
When you frame it that way and you think about how far we've come and how we look at things, I totally get. I get why Gen Z is like, ew.
Yeah.
Mom, why did you like this?
Yeah.
Right? So it just goes to show that there are all these shows that we thought at the time were iconic, and things are changing so fast that young people today are like, there's nothing about this show that I can relate to.
The fashion I loved. That's what I'm going to give. That's why I kept watching, because I loved the fashion. But the relationships in that show were not okay.
No, and I did love ordering a Cosmo just because I liked saying it. I actually hated the taste.
Wow.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
So I was away on vacation recently, and I'm pretty certain my Instagram algorithms conspired against me.
What do you mean by conspire? Do you mean like the regular stuff, like we know our phones are listening to us, and like, or if you talk about a certain destination you want to go to, all of a sudden you see ads for that, or like, you mean like that?
Precisely, but I've never seen it on this level. So your phone knows where you are. Like when you fly into the States or another country, it's like, oh, you're in another country, like here's the data plan, whatever. Like it knows where you are, right? So I was in Costa Rica. And it's interesting how everyone's algorithms are different. My friend started getting a lot of like Latin videos in Spanish on his feed, which he doesn't normally get. I'm like, that's interesting because we're in a Spanish-speaking country.
I wonder what he normally gets.
Yeah, like I don't know what his normal Discover page is like. The Discover page is where you go to search and it just starts feeding you a bunch of content you think you'll like. And even when you're scrolling through your regular feed, it is curating content that it thinks you will consume and like and potentially follow.
And it's very good. Like sometimes it will, in my feed, I'll see something that's suggested and I'm like, I don't follow this person, but then I want to.
Like, but I will.
Yeah.
So when I was away in Costa Rica, Instagram absolutely knew that I was missing my dog, Coffee the Pooch. I have never seen such a stacked deck. And I made a mindful choice to not I didn't post any stories while I was in Costa Rica. I didn't open Instagram much, maybe once or twice a day. I wanted to take a little break.
Okay.
But every time I did open it, I started welling up with tears because every video I got on my feed was cute dog videos, reunions with animals and their humans.
What?
Dogs doing amazing. Those emotional videos where like a soldier's coming home and seeing their dog and they set it to like an Ed Sheeran song and you're instantly crying.
Yes.
Like a dog being someone's ring bearer. Like it was
like your Saturday nights?
Yeah, pretty much. Guilty. Like scrolling through, it was one after the, and I'm laying there in bed on vacation, and I'm welling up and I'm like, what is happening? So
Wait. Were you in Coffee the Pooch's Instagram account?
Honestly, I thought I'm like, oh, maybe I'm on Coffee's account. No, I was on my own account.
Okay.
Then I went to my Discover page, which I'll be completely honest with you. My Discover page is normally, I'm not that complicated. It's normally sports and women. It was all dogs as well.
What?
How did it know?
Okay, so you think the algorithm could sense your feelings? How does it know that Coffee's not with you?
I was texting my mom and talking to my mom on the phone because my mom was dog sitting. I'm like, how's Coffee? Send me pictures of Coffee. Like, what's Coffee up to? Like, did she go for a walk today? Did she poop? Like, all these things. So it's listening. It knows I'm not with her. It knows she's not with me because she has a Apple AirTag. So it knows we're countries apart and is playing on my emotions.
And maybe the whole thing is because you say you didn't use Instagram much. Maybe the whole thing is because what is the goal of an algorithm?
Keep you on there longer.
Exactly. So maybe that's what they were trying to do. Like they know the content you like.
Can you fix my algorithms?
Oh yeah. Okay. Here, let me put this in. Single ladies, Austin Matthews, go Leafs, go. Tight pants, girls.
Fixed.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It is so cold right now. Like
You're actually wearing your jacket indoors.
For the first time ever. It's cold in the studio. The studio is freezing. I'm putting on my winter jacket inside. It's minus 25. The city's opened up warming centers for the city's most vulnerable, which is nice to see. It's insanely cold, and we thought this is time to bust out a classic game of Would You Rather on the Pooja and Gurdeep show.
Based on the weather that we're getting.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to come up with a scenario that would make it a little difficult for you. So how about this? Would you rather be outside in Toronto in this weather at minus 30, or would you rather be outside in Toronto at plus 40?
Would you rather be outside in Toronto in minus 30 or plus 40? That's unfortunately going to be minus 30 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You picked this?
Yep. Because Toronto heat is disgusting. Like, it's smoggy, it's thick, it's humid.
Yes.
I feel like I can layer up and bundle up and wear the earmuffs and the scarf and the glove. Like, I have to do it with my dog, Coffee the Pooch. I can bear that and she likes the cold better too. Then the heat, I feel like I would just die after, like, I would pass out after 10 minutes.
And you need to stay hydrated and all those things. Like, there's so many, and then you have to put on sunscreen. Like, there's so many things.
Yeah.
Extra things.
I can keep layering up almost infinitely. I can only gear down so much when it's hot. I can only take off so many clothes before I'm naked.
Yeah. I think normally I would agree with you because I would rather be cold than hot. But when I think about right now in this particular weather, plus 40 seems pretty sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if this is why I made it minus 30 and plus 40 and not minus 30 and plus 30, because then everyone would take plus 30. Because plus 30 is like, sure, that's hot. Plus 40 is like...
It's oppressive.
It's oppressive. That's the word.
But I think I would still go with plus 40.
Really?
Yeah. I think just like, just because maybe we have short summers here. I don't know what it is, but I like hot, 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 hot. And we've all been away somewhere where it's been really hot. You have to take breaks.
Yeah.
But I'll still take that over what we're getting right now.
Sarah Bartok, who's in for Steph today.
Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. Where are you on this? Where would you rather be? Minus 30 in Toronto outside or plus 40 in Toronto outside?
I was really struggling with this, but I'm going to be on the side of Pooja in this sense where I'd go rather plus 40 because I find it less painful.
Yes.
I think when it's cold like this, it's
Right.
painful. It
True.
hurts, right?
Do you guys think there's any recency bias in your answer? Like, if I was asking you this on July 8th and it was plus 40 outside.
No, like Pooja, I like it cold too. Like I like it, it's much more, it's easier to sleep and do all that stuff. But I find that with the heat, I'll get frustrated, but I won't like almost come to tears because I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it much more painful, if that makes sense.
I definitely agree with the recency bias. If you
Okay.
did ask me in July, I'd probably be like, no.
Maybe we'll revisit this on the hottest days. Quick story. I just got back from Costa Rica and I was talking to a gentleman I met there who lived on the West Coast in the Guanacaste region. And I asked about their temperature variance for the year. Because it was every day I was there, it was like 33 degrees.
Right.
He goes, oh, yeah, it gets as hot as about 35. And they go in the winter, it'll drop down to about 28 for the high. So I'm like, your temperature variance all year is 8 degrees. He goes,
That's
yeah.
it?
He goes, well, what's yours in Toronto? And I go, about 65. We go from like minus 30 to about plus 35. And he looked at me sideways. He couldn't comprehend what I was telling him.
He thought you were joking.
He thought I was
probably.
kidding. He thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
He walked away.
I think that's why we can get away with it here because there's that variance because we have the 4 seasons.
Yes.
Pretty much, right?
Right.
Yep.
That it makes it easier. I think that if it was plus 40 every day, 365 days, I don't think I would
No
want
way.
that either.
Right.
It's true.
Right?
Okay, well.
I'm sticking with mine. I would
Me too.
rather be in plus 40 outside than minus 30 in Toronto.
Okay, and I'm saying I'd rather be in minus 30. The cheese stands alone, I guess. Would you rather be outside in Toronto in minus 30 or plus 40? You tell us.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Would you rather be outside in Toronto in minus 30 or in Toronto outside in plus 40?
Neither are great options. But what do you say? Bob in Toronto.
I'm originally from Newfoundland, and we get really, really cold weather there. But I live here in Toronto now, and this cold weather for the last few days is really, really bad. So
Really? Coming from you?
it's different because in Newfoundland it's more of a drier cold, right? Or like you can stand out in a t-shirt when it's minus 10 in Newfoundland, but you can't stand out in a t-shirt here at minus 3.
Interesting.
It makes me feel tough that someone from Newfoundland is telling us, like, yeah, you guys got it cold. Like, it feels like street cred in a way, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I like that.
You know something? They don't have any snow right now, and it's plus 4 down there. My sister was telling me, and I go, "Come on, go away! You're kidding." She said, "No." Oh my God!
So, Bob, am I guessing you would pick plus 40?
Absolutely, all the way.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. All right. Plus 40, a popular choice. Bob, thank you for the perspective from the East Coast. We appreciate it.
No problem. Take care, guys.
You too. Gary from Uxbridge. Listen, I'm saying minus 30. The ladies here are saying plus 40. Gary, what do you say?
I'm with you, Gurdeep,
I know
because
somebody.
you can layer up clothes all you want, and you can get really, really warm. there's only so much you can take off, and skin is not removable.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can take off without getting arrested.
You're just standing there going,
You know what? Those are the sounds that are coming out right now in minus 30. It's like, oh, it's the same.
we'll put more layers on.
And to be clear, none of us are saying either of these are desirable options.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're picking between two very terrible options.
Yes.
Gary, thanks for the call.
I used to go camping in this stuff.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, outdoor camping.
No thanks.
So there you go.
Glamping for me. Thanks, Gary.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Jim in Scarborough, let's play Would You Rather. Would you rather be outside in minus 30 or plus 40?
I got to go with the ladies on this one. I'd rather be in the plus 40.
How much do you think it's playing into the fact that we are currently sitting at minus 30 and you just don't want to be in this?
Not playing into my choice at all. I do not like. I like winter. Minus 3, minus 4 I can deal with. Minus 30s,
Okay, all right. Well, Jim.
Take the plus 40.
Appreciate the call, buddy. Thanks for the call, Jim.
Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Would you rather be outside in minus 30, because that's what we were hovering around this morning, minus 30 or plus 40? So we're asking you debilitating cold or oppressive heat is what it boils down to.
Both are horrible options,
Yes.
but that's why the game's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Let's go to...
Love this game.
Yes. Kimberly in Scarborough, would you rather be outside in minus 30 or plus 40?
In minus 30.
Ooh, how come?
The way I look at it, you can always dress up for the cold, but when it's 40, there's nothing you can do.
It's true.
Yeah, like if I'm outside and it's freezing, I'm like, I'm going to jog back to my place. Like, make my dog run with me. Like, let's get back inside. When it's so hot out, it just slows you right. You're sluggish. You can't move.
No kidding. Yeah,
It's
and
like
there's
quicksand.
nothing you can do to make yourself cool.
Yeah. And then you get
Sit in air
irritable.
conditioning.
Do I see Pooja changing her mind in real time?
I mean,
oh,
I could easily move to the dark side.
Someone's coming over to the cold plunge.
I love sweaters. What can I say? I would take winter over summer any day.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
So today is Day of Judgment. And no, that doesn't give you license to go and judge people. Maybe you do that anyway. I'm not sure. But we've all been on the other end of things where you've been judged or you knew you were being judged over something. And, it's not fun. It's not fun when you're now more concerned about somebody judging you than what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And, 9 times out of 10 people don't have all the information. This is why you should always reserve judgment. I will tell you, this happens to me, I think, every day at pickup with my kids when I go to get them from school. Yes.
Your kids are judging you?
My kids are judging me. I think it's other parents judging me because so I have 2 of them that I'm trying to get into a minivan and into their car seats. My nanny comes with me, so she helps me as well. But the antics to get them into the car, they've now at 2.5 years old learned this new octave of screaming that I've never. It's piercing. It can break windows.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And their favorite thing to do, as I'm just trying to put them in the car seat, is start screaming at that
nail
level.
that note.
Yes. And I think people think that I'm I'm really rough with my children. Like, I don't even have to touch them and they scream like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to get them in the car and I'm trying to make it happen quickly so we can get out of there. And I don't need everybody looking at us while they're screaming.
But is everyone actually looking at you or are they dealing with their own kids?
I really hope they're just dealing with their own kids.
I don't think anyone's paying attention
But why,
to you.
why isn't anybody else's kids screaming?
They
Why-
probably are. You can't hear them because your kids are screaming.
Okay. And then my kids have learned this line where they say, go home. I don't know why. I think they want to say, leave me alone, but they know go home.
God,
so they're
I
like,
love
go
them.
home, mama. Go home.
You're like, I'm trying to.
Yeah. And then I have to threaten to leave them there. It's all really bad parenting in that moment, but I just need them in the car and I
love
feel
that.
judged. And I think as a parent, it happens a lot. Or maybe I'm thinking I'm being judged because a lot of parents can be judgmental because if you don't do what they do with their kids, then somehow you're doing it wrong.
I don't know. I think you're thinking too much.
Yeah.
I don't think any other parent is actually paying attention to you because they're dealing with their own kids.
And it's hard and
Yeah.
they all know it's hard and
Yeah.
there's no time to judge because they're going through their own thing.
And you're right there beside the ear-piercing scream, but
Yeah.
it's not that loud outside of your van.
I hope so.
So they're dealing with their own kids screaming. Nobody can hear each other.
Yeah. And I mean telling people to go home, that's polite.
Where did they get that
I don't
from?
know. And I keep telling them, like, don't say that. And then the more I say don't say
Yeah.
that, they're like, go home, mama.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I am home. This is my home.
Yes.
This is my
So,
home.
so the parents and your kids are judging you.
Yes.
Everyone's judging you.
Yes, on this day of judgment.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.